Welcome back to the Heart of the Homeland YouTube channel. Today, my grandpa Tim is going to show us how to smoke this pork shoulder.
Smoky. These are looking good.
I've never done anything like that before, and he's a big reason why this channel even exists, but he's also the pro at smoking meats, the best you've ever tasted. So he's gonna share all of his secrets today. Yep.
Well, I'm not sure about pro, but I've watched a few pros and I've been cooking at family cookouts for quite a while now, so I test everything on grandkids and great-grandkids and kids, and they keep coming back, so I guess it's working okay. I cooked for years on an offset smoker, but as I got older and the weather is so unpredictable here in Oklahoma, I decided to buy me an electric Cookshack smoker. Nice thing about it is a lot of times on a holiday when you're cooking, I'm under the roof, so everything works out great, and it's easy to control the temperature. And I guess we're ready to get started.
So this is an 8-pound pork shoulder, so what do we need to do for prep?
Okay, what I like to do is score the fat cap, and this particular pork shoulder is in pretty good shape. It really doesn't need any trimming done. Actually, if you were buying one and picking it out, I might even like a little extra fat up here, but what we're going to do is just kind of cut this in a 1-inch squares, but we're going to try to get some of that smoke and some of this rub we're going to use down in this where we scored it, and we'll go the other way.
So that's the point of scoring it, is to get more of the flavor in there.
And really, this is going to go in the smoker fat side up. Even though this is a vertical smoker, it does a pretty good job of cooking all around the meat. And what we're going to do next is, and this is pretty normal, everybody does it or use something similar, we're going to get some mustard on this. We want the rub to stick to the meat, and the mustard just helps do that. The mustard really doesn't come out in the flavor profile, but it's a nice sticking agent. All sides here. We use the mustard on pork, ribs, and pork butts, and that's about it. This rub recipe is nothing fancy, nothing special. Come up with over the last 20 years, and we tweak it. And store-bought rubs are okay. I like this one here. It's Killer Hogs, the barbecue rub. I've used it before. I kind of like making my own. So what we're going to do is just put the rub in here, rub it pretty well. We want all this stuff to get down in the scored areas here. Just added some changes to it. For instance, instead of using straight pepper, we used lemon pepper.
Okay.
And instead of using garlic powder, I used granulated garlic. Just little things. Sugar, white sugar, no brown sugar. A lot of people use brown sugar. We're going to get a pretty nice bark on this without the dark sugar, so I stay with the white. So we'll let this rest here just a minute. And like I say, you can use this rub for other things too. It's a secret weapon when you're making beans, which I think we're going to do later.
We'll do some of this too.
And the smoker's ready. All we got is put it out there. We want this rub to kind of soak in, and we'll take it out there and put it on the smoker.
Okay.
It's getting in there pretty good.
So let's get it going.
Okay, this is a Cookshack. It's called the Amerique. It's got a base underneath here, which is an optional feature. It's really nice to have. It's on rollers. It's pretty much bulletproof. Yeah. The only thing when you first start out with it that I found out is you can over smoke very easily. So you don't want to go crazy with the wood you put in. Your wood goes in here. I'd pull it out, except it's hot.
Now what wood are you using today?
We've got a combination of cherry and hickory, and that's what we're going to use today. And those flavors, normally I would probably use cherry and pecan, but I didn't have any pecans. So we have an abundance of hickory and oak, and I don't have any problem with oak. I like it too. Actually, it's probably a little milder than the hickory, and it does a good job. You can see what happens. We were at 273 when I opened the door, and the old saying is, if you're looking, you're not cooking. Well, same way when you're putting meat in, it's going to drop, and it'll take a little while to come back up, but it does in a relatively quick period of time. It's an all stainless smoker. It's a lot heavier built than some I've seen, and what I use small chunks of wood, and there's 2 in here. So that doesn't sound like much, but we get a nice smoke on it.
We've got 3 hours before we do his first check. So it's election day. We're filming on Tuesday, so we're gonna go take a break and go vote, and then we'll be back.
Okay, we're about the 3-hour mark, so we're gonna see what this looks like and give it a quick probe.
It smells so good.
I think we're gonna pull it and wrap it and spritz it, a little bit of apple juice, and it's cooking quite a bit faster than we had planned on, so we're good to go.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you hold it. Okay. Whoop.
It does smell good.
We're going to go ahead and spritz this. Little apple juice. Might even pour a little bit in the bottom. We're pretty close to done here, so we're just going to kind of put it in here and keep it warm for a while. We're giving you a bonus cook today. We're going to do some beans too. And I'll bring them right out here and we'll get ready to put them on too. I didn't know anything but bacon went on barbecue beans when I grew up. You went to church functions, mom cooked beans. That was one of my first loves of outdoor cooking. Was mom would always make some baked beans with whatever dad was cooking. My dad was a bit of a cooking guru. He had one of the early hasty baked cookers. He was a miracle worker on that, and I thought anything that came off that cooker was the best food in the world, because we kind of grew up on fried chicken, fried steak, Sunday roast, and same thing everybody else did back in the 50s and 60s. Mom was the greatest cook I've ever seen to this day, and I can say that because Kathy's in the other room. And but Kathy's pretty darn good herself. Instead of using bacon, of course you can use pulled pork. Some of the leftover pork we get off this today, if you want to freeze it and save it back, put it in a vacuum bag and put it back, and you can use it later to put in your beans. But I like the flavor of a good sausage. Now we're using Greer's Ranch House. I'm really partial to Greer's and Blue and Gold because of the fat content. And plus Greer's is made over here in Pryor, Oklahoma. Get this started, and we've got a pound we're going to put in these beans. If you're going to do a barbecue, you got to have beans to go with them. Use whatever you like, but whatever I use, I pour the juice off, because we're going to season them the way we want them seasoned. Get our beans started. Right, we've cooked this for large crowds. We've done a couple of weddings and large family get-togethers, and I used to cook these on a stick burner, and I would cook them in the can after I mixed it up. They were delicious in the can. Start seasoning these beans. Started with the sausage, and the sausage, we used a pound of Greer's country sausage, 3 or 4 tablespoons of mustard. We'll go ahead and throw some brown sugar in here. Got a cup of brown sugar. I'm going to start with a cup of barbecue sauce. See how we do on that. We got half of an onion. You could use a whole one. I have a half of one cut up here, so we're going to use it. Secret weapon is always going to be the rub. 1/4 of a cup of rub in here. So we're going to use it, and this makes quite a difference on the beans. The weddings we did, man who did all the music, at the end of the evening, he said, I just got one question for the wedding party. I want to know how they come up with those beans. And we're going to need to sample this just to see where we're at. Rub we've got a little bit of the heat we're always looking for with the chili powder and red pepper. And those should work. Get them in a pan here and get ready to put them out. How are we doing? Let's do it. We'll smoke at 250 for probably an hour, 225, 250, and then we'll go ahead and kick it on up to 300 to speed them up a little bit. We'll add our couple of tablespoons. Another small piece of wood in here. We're going to have plenty of smoke for the rest of this cook. And like I say, whatever you're cooking with, the only caution that I would tell people about is be careful how much wood you use, because you can over smoke your meat pretty easily. Smoky. These are looking good. We're going to let the shoulder rest. We're going to let the juices run back into the meat so they don't all pop out at the same time. You'll get the meat will be more tender. And the beans, we'll just keep them here and they'll be fine till dinner time. We're going to dissect this. This for sandwiches. Of course, we can do a lot of things with leftover pork. They're great for your tacos or burritos, or cooked it to an internal temperature of right at 200 degrees. Use your bare hands or gloves, but forks work pretty good too. Change a flavor profile by injecting, and you can do that. And you could use pretty much what we use for a spritz, some apple juice. You could use apple cider vinegar. But this makes a lot of food for a group, and you can feed a lot of people with an 8-pound piece of pork shoulder. You gotta try the beans, that's good.
Logan, would you like a bit?
I hope you've enjoyed this recipe for smoked pulled pork. It was so much fun being able to record this with my grandpa and show off just one of his many talents. Remember, you can always find more at heartofthehomeland.blog. Can't wait to see you over there.